To me, that's where the frontier of my experimentation will always live, what my body is telling me, what my body is craving. The heart was a special one. I put everything into that one. And so I was there, I was in it with this heart. My whole goal, like what I was seeing for that heart was just, I wanted it to be alive. I wanted that heart to be pumping. I started actually to feel very sensitive in a different way to these pieces that I was working with. Like I could just see how hard this material was, how there's a lot of cracks and smash and drilling and, the saw. So it's interesting, like I'm talking about such rigid materials, or my experience with rigid materials, and with this heart, what I was going for was flow and actually liquid. At some point in the process, I really started to crave softness, just on a tactile level, something that was more forgiving in its touch. Fun fact about me is that I have hypermobility in my ligaments and connective tissue. It affects a lot of how I move through the world. And one thing a doctor told me, when they see this extreme looseness in someone, to mirror such looseness, somewhere in the body there is the equivalent opposite force of tightness. To treat, the problems that arise from the looseness, they actually look for that tightness and try to release it. My mom actually was cleaning out the house, still the house that I grew up in, and she found my bead collection from when I was a kid. I was obsessed with beads and beading and jewelry, and here we are. I also recently more intentionally returned to the practice of drawing. I would always think of myself as drawing, but I realized that I was planning with my drawing. And so my hand picked up some of its old mark-making movements. When I started working with the fabric and beads, I could tell that the way I was stitching and the way that I was stringing these beads actually resembled that drawing a lot. I have a lot of muscle memory there with these beads, stringing them on a needle. But at the same time, I'm bound to have knots. I'm bound to have fraying edges. I'm not a seamstress, and I like that. It kind of has that sense of sketching. It's taking that possibility of perfection out. In many ways, the evolution of my art practice reflects my health journey. Not only emotionally, but also medically. For me, it's all completely intertwined. I really had to learn about the body in order to understand my own and to understand my symptoms and what I could do about it. This artwork is that. This artwork is me learning about my body, learning anatomy, not just from a place of pain, but who knew intestines could be so beautiful?